Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge, and today we are going to make this. This is a cording candle. Now what this is it is an adjustable candle holder. And before I can make that, I've got to show you how to make the tool to make that. So this is a twofer. You get both of them, a tool and a project, just in time for the holidays. So before I make the cording candles, I got to make the jig for them. So this is the materials I've gathered up to do that. This is some of that, I think half inch octagonal. I got it at the scrapyard a while back, 2 foot of it. This is a much longer than I need piece of 3/4 square stock. I wish I had some half inch, but I don't. I might check one more time before I commit to this. This is a piece of plate, 8.5 by 6 inches. This is just laying around. This is a piece of 3/16 by 1.5 inch flat stock. Little under 2 inch piece of 1 inch ID, schedule 40. Short piece of 1/4 by 3/4 flat stock, and this is 7/8 round stock, whatever, about a foot, a little under, I think, yeah, 11 inches of that 7/8 round stock, and then just a good size, I think it's 3/8 bolt. First thing I'm going to need to do is make a scroll out of this 3/4 flat stock. To do that, I'm going to use a scrolling jig, which is, it's real simple. Lock it in a vise, and I'll need a pair of vice grips. So let me get this warm. Square stock to do this, so I'm going to use this 1/2 inch instead of that 3/4. Oh, it's not hot enough at the end. Okay, maybe this time I've got her hot in the right spot. There we go. Now the heat should do it. Take a 3rd attempt to finish this. This should usually be a smooth, quick operation, but it's not always. Alright. I think that's enough of a scroll. That's enough of a scroll. Well, our scroll has kind of cooled off. I'm going to go ahead and mark it where I'm going to need to cut it. It's just so it'll fit on the plate, but I gotta get the plate and everything cleaned off so it can be welded. There's a little angle I need to put on the end here and cut off a little. Here's the secret, you don't always have to use your anvil. Alright, that has got that a lot more useful. Next thing I'm going to do is weld this short piece of flat stock to the bottom so that we have something to lock this in the vise. I've got it square. Aha. And that is definitely overdoing it, but when I'm building tools, jigs, things like that, I would rather overdo it than underdo it. So now for the rest of building this, I'm going to put it in my little movable vise. This thing's handy. I built it a while back. Video up there somewhere. To line this up to weld it, I'm going to weld it up to where the bolt has plenty of thread to tighten against this scroll from the edge. I'm going to do stitch welds on the inside of the scroll. So there's our stitch welds, and that should be enough to hold that on there good. I've got our 7/8 rod, and I'm going to use one of these little 90-degree magnets to hold it while I tack it. And I'm putting it in right at the end of the scroll so it can come right off the scroll onto this piece. So I've got it welded about 2/3 of the way around to the plate. Now I'm going to throw a little bit of weld right here between the scroll and the bar. Last but certainly not least is our retainer bolt. I'm going to use the magnet to hold it in place. Tack it there. That was a terrible shot. Go. All right. And that is our base for this whole thing. Now the rest of it. Yeah, I've got our piece of Schedule 40 up against our piece of octagon here. I'm using my little magnet again. And I've got it tacked down. Before we can weld on our piece of 3/4 by 1/4, I got to do a little shaping of it. So we're going to throw it in the forge. That looks warm enough. We're going to put 2 bends in this. Start with the first one. We want them to be pretty crisp, so clearly we'll use a hammer. This time I'm locking it in the vise a little differently. Hopefully I got enough room to do this. Oh, that's a F up. Oh. Yeah, I cocked that right up. Is that long enough? No, that might be long enough. That might be long. I think that'll work. We're going with that's gonna work. I've decided that's gonna work. We want this where the end of this bent piece will sit right at the inside edge of this scroll. So it's perfect, just like it is. Now we just gotta weld her on. Okay, that right there is our jig. Now we can make our cording cam. Okay, I've got 58 inches of 1/4 inch round stock, and we got to do a little forging on each end before we throw it in the jig. What we're going to do here is bring this to a point, and then round it. So, hitting two sides. Because when we're hitting the top, the anvil's hitting the bottom. So when you hit two, you hit all four. That's got it at a nice square point. So when we come back, we'll round it. Rounding is pretty easy. We're just gonna hit, well, maybe. We're just gonna hit all the corners. As we do that, it goes from being square to octagonal to whatever's past octagonal to round. Now here we go. We're gonna put a little rat tail scroll on here. Going like that. Okay, we've quenched the rat tail scroll. Now we're essentially just putting like a hook. Just take it to the horn. Ooh, that's not very round right there, but that'll do. Something like that. And we're going to bring her back over here and taking the scrolling tongs, bend that up so you've got something like that. Your other end of the material you're just going to bring to a point. Once everything has cooled off, you're going to put this in the jig with the little hook you made facing up. Lock it in tight. With the material cold, you're going to start pulling it around the scroll here. And it should go pretty easy because it's only 1/4 inch material. But you're going to follow that natural slope in the scroll. When you get it all the way around, we're going to take our bar and slide it out. We push this over as far as we can and drop the handle down on this. You'll see that the 1/4 inch is between our little outcropping and the piece of 7/8 here. And then just start going around it. You might have to move your camera if you're trying to shoot a video. You'll see that it's the outward piece that's doing the work here. Undo our bolts here. We'll release this thing off of there. It's got a couple of places where it's a little close, so we'll fix that real quick with the forge. Okay, so we're just going to use our scrolling tongs here. And just put a little rat tail scroll in there. Lost heat awful quick on that. There we go. Okay, to open this up a little, I'm going to take an old split ring tool and just kind of open it up a little. And start to get off kilter a little. We'll take our scrolling tongs and get it all nice and straight. We'll just let it cool off on there to make sure that it stays straight. While that's cooling off, we'll do our last little step here. I've got a 3/4 inch dowel, and I'm going to drill a hole, 1/4 inch hole, part of the way through. I got a short piece of 1/4 inch dowel. Just going to pressure fit that in there. And you can glue it if you want. I usually don't. And we're going to cut off about 1 inch of this. Hope it didn't ruin my teeth. This is what we should have left. Now we're going to take our little mallet looking thing and put it in here. And this is the entire basis of our cording candle holder. Now we can put our candle in and adjust the height. Here's our finished product. Now the idea behind this is you can set the height of the candle. And where this comes from is it's a courting candle. So when a young man comes to court your daughter, you set the candle height to whatever you think is appropriate, and when the candle burns down to the candle holder, their time is over. So if you like him and you think they should spend a lot of time together, if he's an appropriate suitor, you set the candle up real high where it'll take it a long time to burn down. And if you don't like him, or you don't want to give his family cattle, or I don't know, however they did things, you set it down low so that the candle gets to the candle holder sooner and they have less time to spend together. Of course, this is archaic and not used anymore, but it's just a neat little design. Well, y'all, that's it. Hopefully you got something out of this. You will have to tweak your jig a little when you're using it, and you can plan on wasting a few pieces of 1/4 inch getting it perfect. But that's the whole idea behind it. And you can also use this for other things. You know, you can use a jig like this to make a spring. It should just open up all kinds of little idea boxes in your heads. But I hope y'all got something out of this. And I hope everybody has a good holiday season. Y'all behave yourselves.